Hi.
Now that we're in the void I like to call my editing software, let's talk about what's happening right now. Hi, I'm Guy. This is my first ever The Guy Creates video, and it emphasizes on talking about games, talking about some games, maybe talking about some games as well. Talking about some more games, talking about some games, and, you know, etc. This video marks the start of a little section of The Guy Creates epic saga I like to call How to Improve Blank. During these types of videos, it's my main goal to look at a game, recognize its flaws, and, you know, fix them. Easy enough, right? Sonic 06 is no cakewalk, because this game is so messed up, and it was a huge challenge to come up with a solution how mostly everything can be fixed in this game, and at least the most important ones. Usually this format of videos was made for games that don't need to change too much, or, you know, or at least decent, but having to fix a game like this? No problem. Nothing Guy can't handle. I got this. It's easy. I need a therapist. You've probably heard all this before. Much of Sonic 06 is buggy, incomplete, and just overall not fun. So now, let's digress here for a second. There's one thing I look for in a game, and that's if it's fun or not. Some people have different definitions of fun. We've got an annoying 11-year-old on the internet who just realizes life goals are common first. There's people who like drugs, you know, which is all, you know, by all means, a safe hobby to indulge in. Oh boy, cops will be here any minute now. There's people who enjoy eating food. People who like to make Animal Crossing ASMR videos. Oh, that same sort of idea can be applied to people who, when it comes to their gaming taste. I don't care if the game is ugly, I don't care if it has a bad story, as long as it's a fun game, it's a great game. For me, when I'm playing a game, I get stubborn, and even if the game is terrible, I'll just keep playing it until the level I'm presented with is done. I'm quite the patient gamer, so I'm always someone who's dedicated to playing the game. Playing the game. EA Sports. Unless I just can't take it anymore and want to drown in pain. But I also understand the other side of the spectrum that, you know, some people used to stop playing a game once it becomes frustrating and not fun. And, you know, it's fine. There's no problem with that. But here's the thing. I could barely beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. I mean, this game is so bad that even I couldn't beat it without becoming, you know, ultimately depressed a little bit. Anyone who says otherwise either didn't play the game or beat it, or they're just completely lying. If you like it, you know, good for you. I'll let you like it, but let me tell you, this game is bad to me, and it's bad to the majority of people. Since this game isn't enjoyable at all, we're about to be pretty critical about this pile of crap as I decide to release to millions of innocent bystanders. Oh no. You know, what if I can just opt out of the Sonic 06 thing? What do you think? Well, you win, I guess. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 was a game released in 2006 for the PS3 and Xbox 360. You know what? We don't need a script. Roll the cliche vinyl scrap. Okay. We're not gonna say what everyone else says about Sonic in this video. Ew, Sonic was never good! Come on, Nintendo, get with the times. It's 2018. Nobody plays on the couch anymore. Sonic Forces? Hey, get this. Sonic Forces out. Another game. Comedy genius. No, in this video, we're gonna get straight to the point and talk about the game and how to improve it. I mean, if you don't know what this game is, you'll find out. You'll find out the more I talk about it. I mean, that's kind of a gift. The plot of Bionicles 06 is very simple. The game's plot is horrible. I'm not even going to bother explaining it. I mean, it has some interesting ideas, but... Does it really belong in a Sonic the Hedgehog game? In all seriousness, we all know the plot is bad when you have this, and this, and this, and all of this.
I don't care what happens to the world.
That will make any story in context retina burn. It hurts me! On the lush tropical paradise of South Island, Sonic the Hedgehog's animal friends begin disappearing one by one when he discovers that the evil scientist Dr. Ivor Robotnik has been kidnapping them and converting them to Robotnik Batniks as part of the plan to collect all 6 of the disabled Chaos Emeralds. Dirty Sock decides it's up to him to save them, and then embarks on the quest to free his friends from thwart the evil schemes of Robotnik. What happened to Sonic saving his animal friends? Remember the short little animal guy who ran fast? I mean, think of the general consensus of people who know who Sonic is. Do you think they know about this? Look what we're doing now. Don't forget about the beautiful love story that takes place. Oh man, this right here is the kind of stuff that makes me happy. This is what games truly need. I mean, what would this game need without an awkward laughing sequences between two characters who have clashing art styles? Where's the news? So now that we're done with that, what's next? Let's see here. Oh, it's the presentation. Might as well just leave now, because there's no hope for that. No hope. No hope. I'm Italian now. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006's presentation is the music's probably one of the worst aspects for sure. I mean, I bet there's nothing that makes me question what went through the developer said. No. I want to play Superman 64 and go sit through the loading screen just while I buy the game, you know? Hey, Sonic team, how are you? Good? Well, great. Replace all the bland towns with, get this. Get this. No hub world. Screw Soliana, screw the realistic looking people, and screw Eggman with real eyes. You gotta have it look like this, not this. Even something like Station Square from Sonic Adventure is good enough for me, as long as it just doesn't have people who crawl into my nightmares. It's just to me that the hub world is adding nothing to the game, really. There's, it's already linear with side quests that, to me, are a chore. How much time does Sonic have on his hands to play hide and seek with a bunch of kids? Come on, Nintendo, knock it off! But it's not even just the hub worlds that are bland. No, even the levels themselves are pretty unspectacular. We've got Wave Ocean, Dusty Desert, Aquatic Base, Crisis City, Tropical Jungle, Kingdom Valley, White Acropolis, Radical Train. Remember the destroyed city from Sonic Adventure? Crisis City. Remember Emerald Coast? Wave Ocean. Radical Train in Kingdom Valley, they're kind of new, but just Oil Ocean, Sky, Sanctuary, that's original stuff. If stages in Sonic 06 were creative and original, and let's say I had a unique theme, the levels would be more exciting than the boring desert and jungle that we see in almost every game ever. The entire game wouldn't be about the story, but it would focus on the gameplay and presentation like it should have in the first place. Instead of the real world, Sonic goes to a bunch of creative levels that are rich and filled to the brim with something that breathes newness. Sonic games can have stories, but Sega needs to realize that a Blue Hedgehog just doesn't fit with a long, dragged-out narrative that would probably be okay without the bad voice lines and, short little freaks running around everywhere. We want no people and realistic things, less story to focus on creative presentation and better writing.
That tornado's carrying a car!
Alright, so now that we covered the presentation, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the gameplay. The jumping is just, oh my. You jump in and then you just float. It's almost like you're moon jumping for how floaty the jump is for all the characters. That isn't a big deal, but a lot of platforming segments are way worse when you jump way too high. It's not good. Sometimes you can be in a precision platforming segment and you jump from platform to platform. You're about to land, but, suddenly your jump is like a gift from God, so you just float there until you finally land. In this situation, you add something like a shorter jump for Sonic and all the other characters, as well as a double jump. Why this? Well, in games like Mario, which are absolute platforming perfections, you can just jump and land perfectly on the other platform. No biggie, it's just easy. But unfortunately, Sonic is owned by Sega. When you jump and you just want to land on another platform, naturally you press A again to boost yourself towards the platform as a backup, just in case you mess up. But, whenever you jump and hit A again and launch yourself forward, congratulations, you just launched yourself across the map. Oftentimes I have to turn myself around in the middle of a forward air jump because the platforms are either too close or the forward dash thingy has too far a range. So to fix this, the quote-unquote double jump should be replaced with another shorter vertical jump, while the forward boost is removed entirely. This is so the player still knows where they are relative to where they want to jump, with the camera hopefully cooperating. And like I said, the character's jump would be shortened in both height and time, or the space between platforms would be adjusted accordingly, so that whoever you're playing as has the physics that match up with how the level is designed. Not too floaty, not too short, but just great. And another thing, Sonic, Shadow, and Silver move really slow. And sometimes they aren't moving slowly because there's a bunch of boost pads and stuff placed in correlation with each other. It's like you don't even have control of the game at that point. It's a bit of a mess. To fix this, Salnilvo's speed will be boosted significantly. I think I just made some really hacked up Sonic fanfiction. To fix this, Salnilvo's speed will be boosted significantly, especially Silver's, with all the speeds the same in each campaign. For each of the characters' running cycles, they should start out slow, but eventually get fast enough to run at an average speed that keeps the character moving, but not too fast. And then they come across a boost, and then they start to go flying, and when their speed gradually decreases, a platform to jump up appears. You jump, and your jump height is equivalent to the height of the step ahead, and you're able to continue smoothly. If you're good at jumping, you can time your jumps right so that any platforms don't slow you down, just like, say, a classic Sonic game. But unlike those games, Sonic 06, your speed is limited. You move slow and your turns force you into a 90-degree robot flip that makes moving across linear paths pretty much unbearable. Everything's just sort of out of tune, for lack of a better term. Something is too long, something's too short, something's too finicky, and it's just a big pile of doo-doo. So hopefully what I previously mentioned fixes the basic controls enough to make the game more playable, and maybe even a ledge grab should be added so that whenever Shadilvik falls, they can hang on the edge and launch themselves up quickly. This is a standard game from 1996 set, so the fact that this game from 10 years later messes it up is just great! Enemies have health bars in this game? No. Whenever you're forced to fight an enemy, you're stuck behind a barrier that blocks you from leaving the area. When that happens and you begin to attack, all you do is spam the attack button. Yeah, the game puts you into combat when there's essentially no combat system. The best way to handle this is to remove the combat sections entirely. Sure, it kind of sounds like I'm ignoring the problem, but a game like this doesn't need to be Skylandered up, where you're just forced to fight enemies and all you have to do is spam A. And enemies should just be used for homing attacking across large gaps and for making the level feel less empty and barren. Oh, I should also mention that the homing attack will now be set to the X button and be used to target enemies only. Let's imagine that this night robot dude in Kingdom Valley came by and would come charging towards Sonic in a jousting position. Or maybe in Crisis City, where if the fire demons and you never stop singing the game do something that can actually hurt you, like attacking you before Sonic kills them. Sonic can't kill enemies too quickly, or else the challenge of having them there in the first place would just be completely obliterated. A lot of enemies just don't have a challenge or don't really do anything. Apparently they're always shooting at you, but you can never tell because of how small the bullets are. I can't see the bullets. Hold on. Okay. There we go. I think it's working. I guess the devs are trying to make the game more realistic. Huh. Honestly, since we're basically turning the presentation and flipping it on its head, enemies should have that classic cartoony vibe that baddies from the Eggman himself have always had. But you know, I gotta be honest. Gray Robot with Gun, my personal favorite Sonic enemy of mine. I mean, nobody can touch him. Nobody can touch that guy. Maybe in order to add some more depth to the little combat there would be in this new Sonic 06 I'm apparently making, they could add enemies that could only be ground pounded or sweeped or spin dashed. Spin dashing in this game, it sucks. In order to get it working, you have to completely stop all movement, charge it up, and then oh boy, you're spiraling out of control. 10 out of 10. Oh golly gee, just great! How do we fix it? Well, just make it so you hit the trigger button on your controller to crouch and then hit X at the same time to charge up your spin dash as much as you want in order to blast yourself forward. The reason why you lose control of the spin dash in Sonic 06 is because once again, as you start turning, you are automatically thrown in a direction and your character isn't curved or ease into the turns like most 3D platformers. Another thing we haven't talked about is the slide move Sonic and Shadow have. Whenever you use it, you're sort of trapped in this awkward movement that makes you defy any means of gravity. So what I would do to improve it is turn it into a role you can perform by crouching with the trigger button while running, similar to the classic Sonic games, and make it possible to jump out of that roll to get back on your feet. Abandoning ship was so important in the oldies because not having it there would just screw Sonic over in a lot of situations. In this game's case, you just go around in circles and wait until Sonic decides to get up. Game design. And you know what? For good measure, let's just rip off Sonic Mania and add a drop dash thingy. When the drop dash was originally introduced, oh golly, did it make Sonic that much better. Being able to spin dash in the air makes everything progress way more smoothly in that game, and bringing it to Sock and a Block 20X, especially with a more polished level design, would make the game that much better. I'm such a nerd. I'm really a nerd. A lot of levels in this game are just pretty much the same stages repeated over and over. I mean, I swear, Sonic Shielder. I love Shielder. My favorite my favorites in it. I swear, Sonic, Shadow, and Silver literally play through these very similar segments of the Kingdom Valley map. It's just frustrating to have to play through the same levels multiple times with little differences. At least add something exciting, like having Silver go somewhere different in Kingdom Valley, like inside the castle maybe, or maybe have Shadow go inside the dark cavern in Wave Ocean. You remember how in Sonic 3 and Knuckles the level would change, Angel Island would be normal, but then the next act had a whole jungle catch on fire, which changed the level a bunch? It's pretty tight. Well, the same would happen in this sort of game. Sonic would go through the same location, but Shadow would, like I said, go through dark caves, and Silver would go to a beach town or something, I don't know. In my ideal Sonic 06, I wouldn't have Wave Ocean in the game anyway, but I'm just giving out examples here. My point is, something like that would add some nice charm to the game. The levels are definitely reused, but sometimes the levels that are constantly rehashed aren't, well, how do you say it? There's this one stage that has no real path to follow or direction to go, so you just end up going in circles confused. In an open map, there should be some sort of guide to where the player should go, like how it worked in Banjo-Kazooie, for example. There were landmarks, there were notes that led you to where you should go, and that's how you complete your goals. In Sonic 06's Tropical Jungle, though, half the level is just a bland jungle you barely remember, similar to the Soliana hub world, and all the paths just get intertwined with each other, which eventually makes you go in circles. That was how Tropical Jungle was designed, at least for the characters that moved at a slower pace like Silver and Rouge, and Kingdom Valley is no different. It was easier to navigate through this one, but it's still a little bit difficult to find out where you had to go. No Path of Rings here, just Game of the Year material. The levels themselves are clearly trying to push you towards a certain direction, but they expect you to figure out just which way to go in this huge mess of platforms and enemies. It doesn't work, you dinks. Games can be open, but they have a certain goal, so you don't run around aimlessly. And instead of that noise, the level should just mostly go in a certain direction, like up, down, across the border of something, or, just forward. It can't go up, then right through times, and then have the path intertwine itself later, and, cause a huge mess. Maybe it could be implemented well, but not like it was here. Levels where you have to go at A to B should be linear. Linear. Maybe in a Kingdom Valley stage, the whole premise can be about going upwards to the top of the castle, not just this random lake with no guidance to where you need to go. Things would be a bit more open though, like if one of the characters have to find a couple of keys to open a door or something, but not anything like this level awful. Honestly, I can just go on and on about how the levels are just poorly laid out, but that would take quite a bit of time, so, I'll just leave it at that. Besides, I've been talking too long about the gameplay, let's just get on with it. Sonic is the only running around at the speed of sound around Earthbound on the ground, sitting around at the playground in the background next to Charlie Brown. As you can probably tell, Shadow and Silver are playable as well. No one else. Just three characters, there's nobody else. No. Hey, Tails, get back in the car. Tails, get back in the car. I'll just mention out of the gate that a lot of abilities these characters have that I don't mention should maybe be removed. In my playthrough, a lot of Sonic, Shadow, and Silver's power-ups, besides a few, felt a little bit useless to me. They didn't seem all that necessary since, they were optional and you pretty much always had enough money for them once you unlocked them. Some of these are notoriously known to be broken, like the one where Sonic jumps infinitely. Shadow controls really similarly to Sonic. As I stated before, all the characters' speech should be the same, being able to go fast is what a Sonic game is known for after all. And having him any slower will just kill the point of a Sonic game. Going as fast as you can and having it all depend on the player's skill. Shadow's only real unique gameplay feature is that you can hop into, yes, a vehicle and drive it. Hello, sir. Can I see your driver's license, perhaps? No driving for you, Shadow. Let me just tow that vehicle for you. There, okay. How about instead of appearing and being completely optional, the vehicle is something that you can just get into once your special meter thing is charged up after a couple minutes of bopping some bad guys. Shadow can get into the gun truck from Sonic Adventure 2 and smash everything in its path as fast as he can. All the platforms just sort of become ramps, and Shadow can just go up with no issue. And he can target giant missiles at the enemies, like the homing attack. This power-up, while temporary, is almost like an invincibility power-up. And why stop there when we could have other Shadow vehicles, like the motorcycle, which you can jump with and move significantly faster with? And there's missiles. Just stuff like that would be awesome, and it would make the game that much more satisfying. Another issue with Shadow, though, is his homing attack. It seemed like this campaign was supposed to be more combat-oriented, but the way it's executed is almost like there's no combat at all. So the best way I can handle this is, like Sonic's story, to sort of remove all the secluded press A stats and make it so Shadow can hold weapons. Oh jeez, okay. The way this would work is that unlike the Shadow the Hedgehog game, Shadow would keep all his weapons in his arsenal, and he'd have a main gun for targeting enemies like the homing attack, a gun for grappling across gaps smoothly and efficiently, and a homing attack for those situations where getting across gaps with enemies in the middle of them. This idea appeals to me because since Sonic and Shadow's playstyles are so similar, giving Shadow some kind of gun would make this playstyle different enough to be fun in its own way. It would be like a Nerf gun or something, not too crazy edgy. New ideas could be implemented as the game goes on, like weapon upgrades, vehicle upgrades, and new mechanics that could make the game interesting throughout. This should definitely be the case for Sonic and Silver's story as well. Oh yeah, Silver's story. Oh boy. Okay, let's get this out of the way first. Silver is one of the slowest moving characters in this game. Like what I said, I think at least 15 times already, Silver's speed should be equal to Sonic and Shadow so that he can keep up with the theme of getting momentum and moving fast. Silver's quirks in this game is that he can use telekinesis on boxes and throw them at enemies. Problem is, despite this idea being kind of cool, Silver always has to desperately look for a box, find it, pick it up, run towards the enemy, and hope to God it actually hits them.
no.
What I would do instead of this is maybe have boxes as an option to pick up to throw at enemies without missing, but these enemies, once hit with a box, would get stunned, giving Silver the opportunity to grab them. Enemies would sort of have to chase after Silver, requiring him to move around a little bit horizontally while making sure his target, similar to the homing attack, is locked on so he can throw his piece of cardboard and carry on. Every time Silver would pick up something with his mind powers, depending on the object's weight, it would take a set amount of time for Silver to get a grip of the object instead of picking up all the objects instantly. This is the case because Silver would be able to pick any enemies he wanted, except it would take a little bit more time for Silver to do so. Despite having to wait for the game to let the player levitate the object, Silver would still be able to move around, albeit slower than usual while he does this, but once he finally picks up the enemy after a couple of seconds, he can throw that enemy onto another enemy, or throw it at an obstacle that blocks the path, which will be the main way of progressing, so that fighting enemies has a purpose. In fact, most of the times in all the campaigns, Sonic, Shadow, and Silver sometimes don't even need to fight enemies and can simply walk past them anyway. They don't chase you or anything, they just let you by. Excuse me, go on ahead, I didn't mean to get in your way, I apologize for my rudeness. Mario enemies always try to attack you or follow you for a little bit, so defeating them helps you manage your surroundings more, so something similar in this game would be recommended. Another thing a part of Silver's moveset is his hover ability. When you hold down the jump button in the original Super Mario 06, he continuously uses his energy bar thingy to float across gaps. It's nice, but whenever Silver lands, energy doesn't instantly recharge. It just sort of sits there after less than a second and then charges up. It's kind of a nitpick, but I would fix it so that the energy can be replenished at any opportunity possible, so that the gameplay flow continues. Silver also has this weird telekinesis ability where he pounds the ground and a bunch of platforms appear usually. This idea seemed a little bit too odd to me to be a permanent move on Silver's moveset. Instead, Silver should have varying gameplay mechanics that involve his powers that are all different on each level he's in, so that the new idea or gimmick is introduced to keep things fresh. Silver could either acquire these skills from the story, or he could just use something like make lava do something in the lava area, or make Eggman's bombs and weapons explode in a secret base or something, I don't know. Honestly, as long as it keeps things exciting and fresh.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down.
Alright, so now that this video is over, I can finally rest in peace. Sick boy, Jeff. Okay, whoa. We can talk this out. How about we go get some ice cream, we talk about our darkest, deepest insecurities, and maybe about how you haven't been contacted by the ESRB about a certain kissing scene in your game. I mean... Okay, listen. Can't move my hand from this controller or from my seat, so it looks like I'm stuck here to play Sonic 06. Today has been quite an interesting day. Jeez, I gotta get out of here. I can't do this anymore. Okay, can't move my hands from the goddamn controller. Did my switch just glow? Like... See this? You see this? Well, that was quite an experience. I guess a lesson that could be learned from that is, you win some, you lose some. Hey guys, welcome to the obligatory end slate here. Thank you for watching the video that took me apparently 11 months to make. The new video is coming out next month. Don't forget to drink water.
Thick boy gift.